Hello and welcome to the program. I am DEJI from Kankara to Kagara and now Jangebe. The recent spate of mass kidnapping of students in the north of Nigeria is getting out of hand. And the bandits, of course, carrying out these abductions are getting bolder and daring with every attack. What is most worrying is that governments at all levels appears to be out of their weeds at putting a stop to these very embarrassing attacks. It appears the situation is becoming quite helpless. Now, the fresh incident of the kidnap of over 300 girls from Government Girls Secondary School, Jangebe, Northwest Zamfara State, is a pointer to the fact that Nigeria's security situation is probably on the brink of collapse, at least in many parts of the north of the country. Bear in mind that the nation is still awaiting the release of 42 persons, including 27 students, kidnapped at Government Science College in Kagara, Niger State, some 2 weeks ago. Now, no doubt the business of banditry and kidnapping has become a booming one in the northeast and northwest of the country. The police appears to have lost control of the situation, while the military likewise is finding it difficult to cope with the onslaught of the bandits who have devised different ways of abducting school children en masse. Now, some opinions led by that of the governor of Zamfara State and popular Islamic cleric Sheikh Gumi is that amnesty is the best way to end the banditry. In fact, the Zamfara State governor has been applying the strategy for quite a while now. But then, how does one reconcile that with the latest mass kidnapping in that state? In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has ruled out any form of amnesty for bandits. At the moment, security agents are frantically searching for the over 300 kidnapped schoolgirls of the Government Girls Secondary School, Jangebe, Zamfara. Maybe by the time you're watching this, some progress would have been made. But then, this is more than embarrassing and is attracting attention from across the world. Let us discuss all of this further. I'm now being joined on the program by Dennis Amakri, who's a security expert and a former director of the Department of State Services. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
I don't know how to begin. The last time the Kagara incident happened, we had you here. Now we're dealing with a similar thing in Zamfara State. How embarrassing is this?
Very embarrassing. Very embarrassing. Because when these things continue to happen, if you remember very well, the last time we talked about the Kankara boys, we also mentioned that more kidnappings will follow. Because some of these governors are not ready to solve the problem the way it should be solved or advised. They want just pay ransom, they want to negotiate, they want to dialogue, and I think that is the wrong way. And I'm happy that the president...
This is a question now. This is a governor who has been preaching dialogue and, amnesty and what have you. So if it is working, why then would we have this in his state? What are the bandits trying to say?
Yeah, it tells you that all the solutions he's trying to profile is not going to work. Because bandits, you don't dialogue with criminals. These are criminals. And if you don't pursue them, they will feel that, they are lackadaisical. They will say, oh, no problem. We've got the government by the balls. And that is not the way it should be. Nigeria is too big for that. What they should do now is to get the armed forces and flush these boys out of this country.
Could we say, I mean, you of course must have listened to Sheikh Gumi over the past week, his diagnosis of the problem, I mean, saying that these guys are fighting for, they're fighting a just cause, so to speak, and that, they are fighting injustice. Is this injustice that led them into this and all of that? But when you begin to have situations as the one that has just happened in Zamfara, and by the way, even before the Zamfara incident, just few hours before the Zamfara incident, probably 24 or 72 hours, there was another kidnapping in Niger State where 42 persons were kidnapped and they've not been released. There was another kidnapping, and this time some people were killed. So how then does one rationalize the fact that these guys are fighting injustice when you see this kind of, killings and kidnappings taking place?
First of all, I will tell you that, in fact, we should not even give Sheikh Gumi the space to talk because we know his antecedents. We know the antecedents of Sheikh Gumi and his Izala group, and the kind of teachings they were teaching. Maybe many people don't understand, but if you go back into even the newspapers, you will know that Sheikh Gumi has always supported Boko Haram. There was a time he was even talking that Boko Haram people should be forgiven, and stuff like that. So for him to go in there, I think the security agency should draw him in, take him in and question him properly. Because some of his utterances are very incendiary.
Quite
Some of his
incendiary.
utterances will not help this country.
Try to help us make sense of this latest kidnapping. How this could have happened. 300, and this time, this school is not a rundown school like the one in Kagara, Niger State. As a matter of fact, it's fenced. It's a very good school. And these bandits, we understand, came in their hundreds. They rode on motorcycles. How could they have carried out this kidnapping? Kidnapped 300, well, at the last count, 317. Just imagine the time it would have taken them to ferry these students out of that place and then into the bush and walk so far. Help us to make sense of this.
Because, this is happening in what has been this famous terminology now on governed spaces. Spaces where there are no government at all. Places where there are no law enforcement at all. They come there and even the police, if there is any policeman around that area, or if there's a DPO office, you won't get more than 5 policemen in that place. So, these people have a field day, and this is what we're talking about. The original plan to safeguard schools had been thrown away. The Safe School Initiative has been thrown away because in that initiative, which was launched with $10 million in 2014, they've thrown away the initiative, the program, and then, of course, the money has gone into private pockets. All these schools in the north are supposed to be protected. Very good fences.
Well, I know, of course, that the Safe School Initiative, it's actually not, the initiative is not that of government, actually. It's more like a private thing, and I know the initiative was then led by Gordon Brown, a one-time Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. But other than the Safe School Initiative, with what is happening, the spate of kidnappings, especially mass kidnappings, one would have expected that after the Chibok incident, that governors of the states in the north would probably have taken a cue from that. And if they didn't take a cue from that, they ought to have taken a cue from what happened in Dapchi. If they had not taken a cue from what happened in Dapchi, perhaps the Kankara boys' lesson would have been enough. But why are they not also on their part moving to protect schools? Because these schools are government-owned schools, state government-owned schools. Kagara, owned by the state government. Jangebe now, owned by the state government. Ankara, owned by the state government as well. So why are the state governments in the north not moving to protect their own schools?
Like you said, the Safe School Initiative is a private initiative, but the benefit goes to the states, the state governments, and they are supposed to run with it. But when you don't do that, when the schools are open, when there are no walls around them, and that initiative is very simple. Do the physical security of the school, and then train the students and the community on how to take care of their schools. But this is not done. And so when it is not done, it becomes a problem. And look at it now. We have all this number of girls, like you were saying. How do they herd them? Herd them like cattle. away, and nobody was.
And what about the local people? Because they would have seen this. They all saw it. They saw when it was happening. They knew about it. These guys came on motorcycles, shooting sporadically in the air. So how come information? Because I'm still trying to make sense of this. I'm just imagining how many hours it would have taken these guys to operate, and how long he would have taken them to get these girls out of that the school compound, then herd them into the bush and walk so far away that we are struggling at this moment to locate them.
That's the problem. That's the problem. We don't have a quick response system in this country. I remember something like this happened in Adamawa State. When they went there, they just killed people in local governments and ran away. It took about 5 hours before the police in Yola was able to get to that area. And now the same thing. Otherwise, if we have, or if we are very serious with the security, by the time these girls, okay, they went there around 2 a.m. By the time it is 6 a.m., they should have alerted the security forces. The security forces should have known with their surveillance, either with the drone surveillance that they bought from China, should be able to surveil the area, because it is not thick forest like in the south.
Yes.
It's an open savanna. It's an open savanna, and they should have seen them, because it will, it is calculable. How far can a school girl walk for 1 hour? If you calculate it properly, there are ways security people can do it to know where exactly they will be far away from that school. So they should have responded. That response didn't come. And that's why they're emboldened to always take these children, take them away, and people will be wondering. They are walking. They were not carrying the motorbikes or anything. They were walking. They were just herding them like you herd cattle. Don't run away, be in line, stay in line, and they took them away.
And the truth is that if there are no consequences when things like this happen, it means they will happen again. We saw it in Chibok, no consequence. We saw it in Kankara, Adapchi, no consequence. Same thing in Kankara, Kagara, we're still on it. So when you don't have people get arrested and punished, obviously it means they will do it again.
Now, when you have a whole governor of a state coming out with taxpayers' money, giving it to these bandits, having discussions with them, they were holding their AK-47, and those people should have been arrested immediately. But when they know that there is nothing going to happen, and right now you hear governors having a meeting in Kaduna, and some of them are saying that we should go and dialogue with the bandits, then I think we have thrown away the safety and security of our country.
How do you think we're going to end this? How can we end this?
It will take a military resolve. It will take a military resolve to go in there and once and for all hit these guys and clean them out. Because it is that confidence they are having that keeps them going. And money is coming in. And that's why they are happy. But if the soldiers go in there, flush them out wherever they are, and let them know that this is not an easy thing, and you cannot just come and be taking the girls and be collecting money for your own arms again.
This is quite terrible, but let's just take a short break. Stay with us, don't go away.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On DEJI 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
DEJI 360, dissecting the issues.